Imagine waking up to a world where the currency sitting in your safe, the Iraqi dinar you've held onto through years of silence and speculation, is suddenly the topic of every major financial news network. The screen flashes with numbers you never thought you'd see, and your phone is blowing up with messages from friends and family who finally understand the conviction you held all along. This isn't just a dream for many in our community. This is the anticipated event we refer to as the revaluation, the RV, and the patterns we are witnessing right now are shifting in a way that cannot be ignored, pointing towards a culmination that could redefine global currency dynamics and personal fortunes overnight. The key has always been to identify the signals within the noise, to separate the hopeful rhetoric from the tangible, on-the-ground actions that precede a true monetary paradigm shift, and what we are observing currently, particularly in the operational backbone of Iraq's financial infrastructure, is perhaps the most compelling signal we have received in over a decade. Across various governorates, we are receiving verified reports, not from anonymous forums, but from trusted contacts within the industry, that currency exchange centers and affiliated banking systems are undergoing a massive, coordinated software and hardware upgrade, a process that goes far beyond routine maintenance or simple bug fixes. This isn't just about making the systems run faster. This is about fundamentally recalibrating them, about installing new modules and protocols designed to handle a different kind of financial instrument altogether. Think about what an exchange center's core system does. It must accurately display live, fluctuating international exchange rates, process conversions between currencies, and settle transactions in real time. For years, the Iraqi dinar's rate has been static, pegged to the US dollar at a very specific low value, meaning the systems in place have never needed the sophisticated architecture to manage a dynamic, freely traded, and potentially much higher valued currency. They are essentially upgrading from a calculator to a supercomputer, from a system built for a fixed, predictable environment to one engineered for the volatility and complexity of the global forex market. This is the digital equivalent of reinforcing the foundations of a skyscraper, because you know it's about to hold significantly more weight. It's a preparatory action that is both logical and necessary if the nature of the asset it is built to manage is on the verge of a fundamental transformation. These upgrades are specifically targeting the rate calculation engines, the user interface displays that show the buy and sell prices, and the internal QEngsun, that's the clearing and settlement mechanisms that would manage the increased transactional volume and value that a revaluation would inevitably unleash. The timing of this widespread upgrade is also critically important as it aligns with a palpable shift in the political and economic rhetoric emanating from Baghdad, where there is a new, undeniable urgency in the discussions about monetary sovereignty and weaning the nation off its dependency on the US dollar for internal commerce. This systemic overhaul is the physical manifestation of that political will, the tangible proof that the plan is moving from the theoretical discussions in parliament to the practical implementation on the ground. It signals that the Central Bank of Iraq is not just talking about a new monetary policy, it is actively preparing the entire financial ecosystem for its arrival, ensuring that when a new rate is announced, the machinery of the economy will not seize up, but will instead be ready to facilitate a smooth transition into a new era. This is the concrete action we have been waiting for, the move that demonstrates intent and preparation simultaneously, moving the entire situation from a speculative waiting game into a phase of active, visible, and documented pre-launch procedures. This is the bedrock of the current update, the foundational piece of evidence that suggests what is coming is not merely another rumor, but a planned, structured financial event for which the country is methodically getting ready. And for us, as investors and observers, it means our vigilance is finally being met with corroborating action from within the system itself, powerful indicator that the long-awaited change may no longer be a matter of if, but is increasingly becoming a matter of when. The natural and most critical question that follows this discovery is, of course, why now? What has fundamentally changed in the global and regional landscape to compel this accelerated, silent preparation that is so deliberately flying under the radar of mainstream financial media? The answer lies in a confluence of geopolitical and economic pressures that have created a unique and narrow window of opportunity for Iraq, a perfect storm of necessity and possibility that the government can no longer afford to ignore. For decades, the nation's immense wealth, locked away in its vast oil reserves, has been a curse as much as a blessing, creating a resource-based economy vulnerable to external shocks and internal corruption. But the recent global shifts towards de-dollarization, led by economic powerhouses like China and Russia, have provided Baghdad with an unprecedented strategic opening. The world is actively, albeit cautiously, exploring a new financial order that is less reliant on the American dollar. And for a country like Iraq, which has been tethered to the USD due to petrodollar dynamics and post-war agreements, this global trend is nothing short of a lifeline. It provides the political and economic cover to make a move that would have been unthinkably confrontational just a few years ago. It allows Iraq to realign its currency and its economy within an emerging multilateral framework rather than standing alone against the West. Furthermore, the internal pressure has reached a boiling point. The Iraqi populace is increasingly frustrated with the economic stagnation and the practical difficulties of operating a dual currency system where the dollar is needed for large purchases and imports while the dinar is used for daily life, a schism that cripples local business and fosters a deep sense of economic inferiority. The government's own ambitious Vision 2030 development plan, which aims to diversify the economy away from oil and rebuild the nation's shattered infrastructure, is entirely dependent on a strong, stable, and internationally recognized national currency. You cannot attract serious foreign investment for projects in manufacturing, agriculture, or technology if your currency is considered a volatile, exotic souvenir. The current system is quite literally holding the entire country back from its stated goals, acting as an anchor dragging down any hope for a prosperous and independent future. This upgrade of exchange systems is therefore a direct response to this multifaceted imperative. It is Iraq quietly preparing to step onto the world stage, not as a broken nation reliant on aid, as a sovereign economic power with a valuable currency that reflects its true potential and wealth. The timing is also strategically chosen to leverage recent regional de-dollarization and economic partnerships that promise new streams of investment from the Gulf and beyond, partnerships that would be solidified and amplified by a stronger dinar. This isn't a random decision plucked from the air. It is a calculated move at a historical inflection point, where global economic realignment, internal political survival, and long-term national development goals have all converged to make the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar not just an attractive option for currency holders, but an absolute necessity for the survival and progression of the Iraqi state itself. This context transforms the technical upgrades from mere IT news into a profound signal of national intent, revealing a countdown that is driven by inescapable geopolitical realities and a closing window of opportunity that the current administration seems determined to seize. So, where does this leave you, the individual who has placed their faith and their capital into this vision of a renewed Iraq? With all these signals aligning, from the technical upgrades in the exchange centers to the powerful geopolitical tides turning in the currency's favor, the phase of passive waiting must now transition into a phase of active and intelligent preparation. The groundwork is being laid right before our eyes, not in the noisy echo chambers of online forums, but in the silent, methodical upgrading of the very financial plumbing that will carry the new value of the dinar when it is officially announced. This means your focus needs to shift from simply acquiring more currency to ensuring your exit strategy is flawless, your documentation is impeccable, and your knowledge of the process is absolute. The moment news breaks, chaos will initially reign, banks will be flooded with calls, exchange centers will be overwhelmed, and misinformation will spread like wildfire across the internet. Your advantage will not come from how many dinars you hold, but from how calmly, efficiently, and knowledgeably you can navigate the first critical 72 hours. This is the time to build a relationship with a local currency exchange bureau that deals in exotic currencies, to have a quiet conversation with your bank's financial manager to understand their policies on large foreign currency conversions, and to ensure your dinar notes are stored securely and are in the best possible condition, as damaged currency can sometimes lead to complications or delays. You must become an expert on the process itself, understanding the difference between a cash in hand exchange at a private booth versus a deposit into a foreign currency bank account, and the tax implications of each. This is also the time for profound mental preparation. The psychological whiplash of a sudden, life-altering financial event is something very few people are genuinely ready for, and having a clear-headed plan for your wealth, whether it involves debt elimination, strategic investment, or philanthropic endeavors, will protect you from making impulsive, emotional decisions in a moment of extreme pressure. The system upgrades we are reporting on are the clearest indicator that the finish line is being prepared, and while we cannot give you an exact date, we can tell you with certainty that the players are taking their positions on the field. Your job now is to be the most prepared, informed, and disciplined person in the room when the starting gun finally fires. Do not be the person who has to figure it all out amidst the panic and confusion. Be the person who has a binder ready, trusted financial contact on speed dial, and a serene confidence because you have done the homework during these final crucial days. This is the final leg of the journey, and the difference between a good outcome and a great one will be determined by the preparations you make today. Right now, based on the information we are providing, October's surprise may or may not come this specific month. But the surprise is ultimately irrelevant because the trend is now undeniable and the trajectory is set. The destination is no longer a question, only the timing of arrival, and for the prepared, the timing is always right. This is the moment your patience has been building towards. Do not let it find you unprepared. The intelligence is clear, the systems are being upgraded as we speak, and the window for calm, deliberate action is still open, but it is closing fast. We have given you the blueprint, the verified data, and the context you need. Now the responsibility shifts to you. Take this information, get your financial house in order, and ensure you are ready to act with precision and confidence. Stay locked on this channel, hit the notification bell, because when the next critical piece of this puzzle breaks, we will be the first to bring it to you with clarity and accuracy. Your future self will thank you for the steps you take today.